Hi, Kiko.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks for taking the time and congratulations on Shelter. I'm wondering when people hear there's a new Jason Statham movie or even a Gerard Butler one, I think most of us walk in with a pretty clear idea of what kind of action thriller we're going to get. What did you want to do with Shelter to shake up those expectations a bit?
I wanted to shake up those expectations. I wanted to give you the big action ride that you want, but also have your cake in it too and give you something fresh at the same time. And that becomes about emotion. It becomes about where you get deeper character and where you're more invested in the story so that you're not just watching action for the sake of action. And that becomes mindless. And they're not the movies that I like to go see. So if the story is grabbing me in the gut, then hopefully I can convey that to you. And that's what I love about this movie.
Yeah, I agree with you. Some of the best action films, I think, let their toughest characters show a little bit of vulnerability. What kind of conversations were did you have with Jason while you built that character?
Yeah, it reminded me of Man on Fire, reminded me of The Professional, back to the movie The Western Shane, where it's about the anti-hero, the guy that carried the gun, who's out there to do the greater good, but then dealing with real trauma in their own form of exile and to save a young kid that is dealing with their own form of exile and they find family in one another. There are all these type of themes that I love to play with moral conflict and moral ambiguity and a sense of what is justice, today, and wrapping all that up in a big action ride.
Uh, Shelter is getting some of the best reviews of your career right up there with the first Greenland. Do you pay attention to that kind of response, or do you have your own internal like barometer for whether something worked or not?
Yeah, it's a really good question because we all want to be reviewed well, but at the end of the day, my critics are the audience, and I'm always looking at the audience scores and how much people are really invested in it. And we've been screening it around the country and going to see those audiences, and people are loving it. I mean, if I can say you want to buy into something, buy into the word of mouth of how people are really digging this movie, and go to the theaters and take this big ride with us.
When you think about great fight scenes, what matters most to you? Is it like the choreography and editing, or is it about more about the rhythm and clarity? And do you like things like messy and chaotic, or more controlled?
I like it authentic. It's about the emotional intent and the stakes so that you're actually feeling what's going on in the fight. The nice thing about doing things with Jason Statham is he's a real fighter. He's a real martial artist. So you're bringing an authenticity to that choreography. It's not somebody teaching them how to fight. Like, tell you right now, if you were going into a dark alley, you'd want him next to you, to fight it out as well. And so you get to just unleash him and see how he's the real deal.
Yeah, Jason often gets labeled as a throwback or old school action star. Does that ring true to you, or do you think he's actually doing something more modern?
I think he's his own brand and he's not worried about how he's being portrayed, or the stereotypes that come with it. And I love that. I love that he knows who he is as a brand and wants to stretch and do different things, but also understands where his authenticity is. And I hope I'm doing the same of this kind of stories that I like to direct, and tell, where they have an emotional thrust and then surrounded by great action and big kind of big canvases that take us and transport us into different places and different worlds.
But besides not having an emotional core, what would be the fastest way to lose you as a filmmaker watching other action movies? Like, is there a pet peeve that it immediately pulls you out of the scene or the movie?
Yeah, when I'm not connected to it, when I feel like action is done just for the sake of action and it feels mindless, I'm pretty much tuned out no matter how much money they've thrown at it.
Just off the top of your head, is there an action or fight scene from another movie that you love, like one that you keep coming back to, and what do you think makes it work so well?
It wasn't a fight scene, but one of the scenes that I really loved was the nightclub sequence in Collateral. I loved how, you see these very deadly people, with lethal means, growing through a nightclub that is unaware and then it unfolding. It was fun to kind of do my version of that, in this movie. So that was a fun sequence to play
Yeah.
with.
Did you get to see one battle after another last year?
I did.
What did you think about that car chase scene where they never change lanes?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, what I like is that Paul Thomas Anderson is no different than a lot of other great auteurs that they're going to do it their way and not try to emulate others. And hopefully, I'm doing an ounce of that, of trying to give you my own brand of who I am as a filmmaker and where my sensibilities are, and put you into a ride that you feel immersed in versus watching it. You feel like you're participating in it.
Great. Hey, Rick. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out. And again, congratulations on Shelter. And we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thanks, Kiko.
All right. Have a good day.